This is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. The page is bright today. This is another spread in the Quilt-Covered journal. This journal is getting really chunky, so at the last part of this journal where we are now, I have glued some pages together so that we're going to get down to just maybe five spreads, 4 spreads, something like that, because I don't want it to be so thick that it's not enjoyable. Sometimes journals like that are fun, especially if you feel comfortable taking pages out of journals to reuse them for something else. I guess a flow book can be fun if it's just packed full of things, and I have made things like that before and sent them out, and it goes out with my blessing to just take the journal apart and use it. At any rate, this page, I thought it would be fun to have some words to play with. And these are all bright paint chips. I have quite a few of these, and I recently purchased some really bright ticket stubs. So I think I'm going to have a new listing in the shop soon. That is the hope anyway. I shouldn't say I think, I should say I am going to. This is a book that I purchased secondhand recently. I believe it's an older book. Let me just look at the date in here. 1978, yeah, 88, 90. Wow, 40 years old? That makes me feel so old. Oh my goodness, so I was 15 when that was published. And I found this 1983 engagement calendar that's got just some pretty examples of writing and some pretty quotes. I'm not going to use my dip pen on this page because I'm not sure how that ink would work on these paint chips. What I was going to do today is just familiarize myself with this book of calligraphy. It has some different fonts in it and exercises. Let's go back to, let's just look at the book for a quick minute. So a materials list, there are exercises you can do. It talks about what size nib to use. So here are capital letters in the Chancery cursive hand. These are so pretty. And I thought what I might do is just practice some capital letters using these words here as inspiration. Numbers and punctuation, words to trace or copy after the A and C lesson, more letters for tracing. There's so much to know. It seems really simple to do calligraphy. I mean, to me, when I was younger, I thought, oh, well, anybody can just write pretty. It is not that simple. Then we come to a totally different font, Adams Bookhand alphabet. And look at these. Stippling. So stippling is a technique used throughout the Middle Ages to beautify the introductory majuscule of a written piece. That's a new word to me. It is simply outlining the letter in dots. This gives it a depth and shimmering quality, and though simply done, makes the letter special and interesting. This book is full of information. This is why we sometimes cannot read these very old receipts and records that we find if they were signed back in the 1800s or even earlier. Some of these old fonts carried through, and the way people made their letters, sometimes we just don't know what each letter is because we don't see it anymore. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he becomes. That is true. Bookhand alphabet. The second family, third family, fourth family. So are the letters broken into families? We will learn more about this book. But isn't this just a beautiful book? Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Old English. So maybe I will just start right back at the beginning. I'm cheating. I'm starting out not doing it right because I'm just going to practice the shapes of the letters. This is not using a fountain pen. And I'm going to use this wonderful stamp block to lift this page up. And let's look at the W. This says Windsor Haze. I love to look at the names of paint colors. Oh, interesting. We have a Windsor over here too. So it looks like the W. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I didn't get that long enough. And then maybe you take your pen. Oh wait, no, you draw the letter and that's 1, 2. I'll go on the outside. Wonder if you can do these letters with 2 Sharpies. What if you used a thick Sharpie for some letters? So let's do a W with this. And then go back with the little Sharpie to add this one here and there. There. That, I think, totally takes some practice. Windsor. Even if you just did beginning letters. It's actually nice to just practice handwriting sometimes. Windsor. So what does the G look like? Oh, it looks like it's done maybe in 2 parts. So the G is like that. Okay, so I don't think she means for these marks to be in with the letter. That shows you, it does show you the step. Now you've learned the entire alphabet. Not quite. We are just starting. Okay, so this step 1 is to make this shape like that. And 2 is to come down from this point up here and then do this. Mine looks too square right here. I think you're not supposed to lift you're supposed to do it all in one stroke. So 1, 2, 3. Wonder what the small R looks like. So G, R, and the little dot is like that. G, R, I, E. G, Greege. Oh, I spelled it wrong. G, R, E, I. I thought it was I before E, Greige. Maybe it's I before E, but that's probably, let's look this word up, please. I don't know what that means. Oh man, I totally learned something new. Greige. That's a mix between gray and beige. I had no idea. I did not know that. So I know the old rule is I before E except after C or when sounding like A as in neighbor and way. So maybe it's the A sound, greige. So I've learned something new. Maybe someone else learned something new as well. So sunny jonquil. Let's look at the S. Let's look at another alphabet. Oh, simple shadow lettering. So you can shadow it. Double lettering. And it says one of the best ways to use this technique is with 2 ink colors. One color for the main body and the other for the double. So let's see about this A here. Ooh, that's fancy. That was kind of easy to do. A, B, E. Okay, that was supposed to come over a little more. Maybe I did the, maybe you're supposed to first do, yes, I bet. Yeah, that's better. I guess it does matter which part you do first. F. Ooh, H. Don't you love that? H. I think I've always been interested in pretty letters like this. It's funny, but in first grade, my teacher had to correct me because I was drawing my A's like this. And she said that for what we were doing, they couldn't look like that. She said, your A looks like it's dancing. And I had to just do that. Boring. But she was my favorite teacher ever. My first grade teacher was so, so wonderful. I loved her so much. So if we did go back with a smaller nib and use a different color. Ooh, that is pretty. Just think. You could really, really get into handwriting. I messed that one up. So this goes here and then switches to inside. Isn't that just fascinating? I think on this I'm going to write dancing A and then put simple A, and over here I'm going to put Miss Small, and I'll put a little heart over her because I loved her so much. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to put a little note here, a little journal entry. Is my first attempt at, let's put the name of the book. One of the things I did on this page was to stitch with embroidery thread, just a needle and thread, because obviously the book is already done and that's not going to fit that closely to the spine under my sewing machine. Also, I didn't want to run the needle through as much glue as I put under there. But I didn't want these pages standing up as they were trying to do, because the journal is getting chunky, and I love it like this, actually. I'm not complaining. It's just to use those heavy paint chips. They were kind of wanting to stand up. You can see that even right there. But, you know, we're not going to be doing this with the journal all the time. We want it just to be nice when it's open flat. And it is. So we have started working with lettering a little bit. I love this. And I think most people have their own personal style when it comes to cursive. It makes me sad to think that cursive is not going to be taught in some schools. I do think it's important. I think it's a good exercise for the mind, and it helps you to be able to read older documents, older things. Of course, what do I know? It's been nearly 40 years since I graduated from high school. So times are a-changing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a new journal spread. We're almost done with this journal. So exciting. So I will see you soon. Bye for now.